Travelers. I'm Lewis. That over there is Tolkien, and you have found the Scripturient Society.
Welcome back,
Woo!
everybody. It's been a hot
2024.
minute.
It's
Oh,
true.
oh, woo, woo, woo. I'm trying to do like the little sports siren as if we've
Yeah.
been to a sports game. If it doesn't sound accurate, it's because I've only been to maybe one sports game in my
And she
life.
calls them sports games, which I don't
Sports
think is the proper
games.
term, but I
It
also
was
do
a
not know.
basketball game, but I did not care. So,
Ah,
anyways, welcome
well,
back. That over there is Carissa Harlow, aka Lewis, aka Catherine. I don't know if you guys just heard. That was a little bit of gas. My child is here with me, so hopefully the mic didn't pick it up. But if it did, then I can't edit it out. It wasn't me. I'm a lady. However, my son is learning how to be a gentleman. He's not quite learned manners yet, as he is only
mhm.
3 months old.
Yeah.
And I am Ash O'Rourke, aka Tolkien, aka out of her mind. Her brain is basically an uncooked egg at this point. Mother and person who did not meet their writing goals. What a shock.
Oh no. I know.
But
I was
I will
gonna ask,
discuss
like,
that later. I'll
yeah.
discuss it later, and I'm very disappointed in myself. But also I know that there's a bunch of you moms out there cackling right now because and I will save most of my rant for later, but remember when I was like, all right, so I'm, pregnant. I think I can finish that new book by the end of the
Yeah.
year because I'll be on maternity leave.
Right.
And not as if I'll have like, trying to physically recover from a very difficult birth experience, plus take care of a new baby, plus keep up with the normal household chores and things. It was the combination of the three I didn't predict.
Yeah.
And I know all of the moms out there were like, duh. But anyways, let me just say it is not conducive to finishing writing a whole book. So
Shocking, truly.
shocking. But anyways, this is our first like normal episode back. All of the,
Mhm.
beautiful, stunning, insightful commentary you guys have been listening to more recently was all recorded in advance while I was prego. So
Yep.
if I also sound like I've never spoken into a microphone, that's why. It's been a long time, folks.
Yes,
Um,
it's true.
yeah. So, and it's sad because I haven't gotten to talk to my Catherine either because
I
this is
know.
or usually we do our like little like chatty chats in this. So,
Yeah.
Carissa, how has your life been?
My life has been good. Let's see. I have so I think I said this last year. It was around this time of year. My parents and I don't have Netflix normally, but we get it for
Mhm.
about 1 month or 2 months a year.
Right.
Are you good?
I'm good.
Oh, okay. I thought you were telling me to stop.
Oh
Um,
no, sorry. I was first my child coughed and then I was scratching my face. I'm just over here
oh.
disrupting things. That's all.
You're good, you're good. So yeah, so we had Netflix for a month and I didn't watch as much as I thought I was going to, which I'm actually quite proud of myself for because I didn't waste a lot of time doing nothing but watching TV. Not that TV is always a waste of time, but I tend to get obsessed with things and then make things a waste of time. But I did not do that this time.
We just
And
call
I
that
watched,
focused, but okay.
yes, um, I watched School Spirits. Have you seen that? It's the TV show.
No, but I literally have a note in my phone that I look at every day that says school spirits because it sounds like something I would
Yes.
like to watch.
It's I really liked it and I didn't think I was going to. There were a couple of like the first couple episodes, the main character was really grating to me, but then she
Hmm.
gets better and I really like the end. It's like it's definitely gonna have a second season, I think, but it was a good twist and like a satisfying ending at the same time. So if they don't have a second season, I'm not gonna die or anything. So that was nice.
That is
And
nice.
then yeah, and then I made my parents watch it because I was like, I think you guys will like it. It's like that good mix of things that they like individually. So all
Hmm.
around recommend that. And then I watched The Irregulars, which is like sort of a take on Sherlock Holmes.
Regulars.
Yeah, and it has the guy from The Witcher, Yennefer's like first boyfriend. I don't know his actor's name.
Oh,
But he's Watson. And I watched it because I saw him in the trailer and I'm like, hey, well, okay, I also watched The Witcher, but we'll get to that in a second. So, because I just finished watching The Witcher and I was like, hey, that's, something that'll tide me over. And also was annoying for a couple episodes, but then I really liked it. And then they apparently canceled it because apparently this is like a sort of old show. And I was disappointed about that. But again,
oh,
satisfying enough ending, so I'm not gonna die. Um,
what a
what else I
relief.
watched? I know. I also watched, this is kind of a weird one for me. I watched The Babysitter. and the second one, which is The Babysitter Killer Queen, and they're like horror comedy movies.
Oh, yes. I saw part of that with Javi.
Yes,
Hmm.
and I really liked them, which is strange for me.
I'm not
But
that surprised.
yeah,
You
they
like
were. I really
Saw
like.
also.
That's true. But I really like the guy that plays Max, and I don't know his name. He's in a bunch of stuff. He was also in season 3 of The Witcher. But he was just really funny in it, so I really liked that.
Nice.
And then I watched The Witcher, season 3, and okay, I love the first. Have you seen the third season of The Witcher?
No,
Okay, well,
but
I
you
won't
can
spoil
spoil
anything.
it. You
I
can
won't.
spoil it. I don't mind.
It's you'll just forget it anyway if you want to watch it
It's
later. But
absolutely true.
the first episode, like, so the last episode of season 2 ended on what I thought was a cliffhanger. And it made me buy the books and read all of them because I couldn't wait. And then I realized how different the show was going anyway, so it didn't even really help. And so then the first episode of season 3 did not pick up like where I wanted it to or where I thought it was going to. So it was unsatisfying in that way. But I
Mm,
loved the first episode. It was so action-packed and there were these cool battle scenes. Like, oh my gosh, it was so good. I loved it.
heck yeah.
Um, and then I don't know if any of you have seen it, but then we got to episode 7 and I was like, oh, it's my least favorite part of the books. And it was just not action. And so I was disappointed in that. And then, I mean, it ended well. Episode 8 was good. Um, so like overall, I would give it a high score. It was like a 90% of a show. I enjoyed it a lot. But then I remembered Henry Cavill, is that how you say his name? He's not coming back for season
Oh
4.
yeah. Yeah, he's not.
And I'm like, so apparently Liam Hemsworth is replacing him. And I'm like indifferent about Liam Hemsworth. Like I don't love him, but I don't hate him. And
I don't either, but Henry Cavill
yeah,
is
he's amazing.
better.
I mean, I love him. So
Yeah.
I was disappointed. But I was looking at this article and it had Liam Hemsworth in like the Witcher like hair and stuff, and
Hmm.
I straight up thought it was a joke because he doesn't look like Liam Hemsworth when
No.
he's like that. So that was funny, but I'm disappointed he's leaving, but apparently he's leaving. We don't know for sure, you know. I don't usually care about celebrity gossip, but I like to know why people leave shows.
Yeah.
Because he's leaving because they're straying too far from the books,
Oh
basically. And he doesn't like that.
wow.
And I'm like, dude, my respect for you just shot up to like a million. Like that
I
is the best
know.
reason of all time to leave a show.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
hysterical.
So, I mean, disappointed, but I like the reason. So, not as disappointed as I otherwise would be, assuming that's the reason. I choose to believe that's the reason. It's at least
So
one
is he
reason.
like your ultimate celebrity crush now? Because that really feels like something that would make him like insanely more
Yeah.
attractive to you specifically.
Okay, probably because he's also Sherlock Holmes in Enola Holmes. Have you seen
Oh,
those?
that's right. I have
So,
not, but I do know that he is.
yeah, so all these things combined, possibly, yes. I haven't really thought about it like that, but yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So I don't like a lot of celebrities, but I now really like him. He might be celebrity crush number 1 at this point in
That's
time.
so cute.
So yeah.
I
Um,
approve. That's a good celebrity crush number
no,
one.
I like it. I feel like there's not a lot of competition, but there should be, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like not a lot of people talk about him, but I feel like they should.
that's true.
Um, what else has been happening? Um, my job has been good. Uh, let's see. I did have this, just talk about it real quick. I've been having a lot of shortness of breath and breathing problems, which is super fun. But I have a cardiologist already, and I have an echo scheduled soon. So yay, we'll see if there's a problem. But
That's good. That's not
yeah,
scary at all.
no, no. I like it's been going on for a good, I would say 4 to 5 months at this point. And about 4 to 5 months, well, I would say about 6 months ago, I started exercising again and like really getting
Uh-huh.
into it and being dedicated. So for the first couple months, I was like, oh, this is just like my body getting used to being active again. But like,
Yeah.
I feel that 5 months later, that should not be happening anymore.
Yeah,
So
you should be past the adjustment period for
yeah,
sure.
and it's like when I'm at rest and I like can't, like, the only way I can think to describe it is that my rib cage feels too small for my lungs.
I
And it
understand that feeling.
Yeah,
I
and it
have
only
that. Yeah.
happens for like 3 to 4 days, and then I'll be fine, and it'll happen for 3 to 4 days again. So I could be dying. It could be my bad posture. It could be a variety of things. but
It could be
I don't know
that your
yet.
back is too tight. Apparently, that can restrict
Maybe.
your rib cage's movement when your lungs are trying to inflate because they're supposed to kind of move out of the way. But if your back muscles are too tight, it like turns them into like a
Ah,
little iron cage.
interesting. I do think if it's not a heart problem, which is more likely for me than other people, but not particularly likely for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's not that, it is probably something with my posture and like not keeping my back straight enough and like loose
Yeah.
enough. That's my
Well,
assumption,
fingers
but
crossed for that and not asthma,
thank
although
you.
I'd love to have another wheezy companion.
That's right. I don't know what asthma feels like, but it's not, I don't know. It doesn't feel like how people describe asthma, but maybe.
No, no,
Yeah.
it doesn't sound like it.
Yep.
Well, I also hope it's nothing serious, but I'm
Yes.
glad that you
Thank
have
you.
you said an echo
Uh-huh.
scheduled.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't know what
like,
that means.
oh, it's basically an ultrasound on your heart. It's like you get for a baby, but you get it
Um,
on your, well, I don't know if echo means specifically heart. That's what they call it for me. So I don't know if
Interesting.
that's the official name or not, but
Echo.
that's what I call it.
Oh, it's cute. It's kind of
Yeah,
sounds cute.
it is. I don't, maybe that's just what they tell children it is, so that they don't get
Oh, so
freaked
it's
out
not
by the
scary.
little goo.
That's
Yeah.
hysterical. That's funny.
No.
Like they when I was in the hospital and I won't go into detail about my birth experience because it's gross. But let's just say it was painful and the injuries were, a little more excessive than typical of a
Yeah.
normal birth. Thanks so much,
Yes.
Riley boy. He was a massive baby. Well, actually, he wasn't even that massive. He was 8 pounds, 6 ounces. So big, but not
Oh,
like giant by any means at
yeah.
all. But he was just ready and he just kind of shot on out of there.
Get
So
me out of here.
yeah, he was like, I am ready to see the world. And then he was also, because he's a giant growing boy. My little story I like to tell now that it's funny and not terrifying is that he couldn't wait to eat. He was so hungry. So he swallowed a bunch of amniotic fluid and then he had to go to NICU while his little
Yep.
lungs dried out. So, and then he got jaundice real bad. So he looked
Yeah.
hysterically funny. And also he had to live in a little blue light like a little glowworm. So
Oh.
we're good now, but it was a mess. And all of this I was
Mhm.
trying to say is that they don't call oxycodone, like the pain medication. They didn't call it oxy, they called it Roxy. And I
Oh.
was like, is this like supposed to be like a cute little, like you're trying to like cutesy it
Mhm.
up? And so
Make
they
it
were
less
like,
traumatizing.
yeah, so they were like, so if you need your Roxy, just call for it. And I was like, no, I'll be fine with just whatever like normal pain medication they were giving me. And they were like, that's cute. You just let us know when, I mean, if you change your mind.
Mm.
Like cute, like 4 hours later, I was like, I think I need something stronger.
Yeah,
And they were
I
like,
think.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
figured.
planned for that. Oh my
Yeah, but
gosh.
anyways, that was funny. I was like, Roxy, that's hysterical. But
Yeah.
they're
Yeah, I
trying to
think they probably do
rebrand,
that.
you
Yeah,
know?
they're like, we need to make this more palatable for the masses, especially like
Yeah.
children and parents.
Yeah, exactly. So that was funny.
Um,
But anyways, anything
yeah.
else
No,
exciting or worrying going on?
no, just that. Um, yeah, that's mostly my life, aside from writing stuff, which we'll talk about later. So,
Nice. Good.
have you
That's
been?
awesome.
Yeah,
I've been good. I had a child,
that's
obviously.
right.
So you've met him,
Small
not in person
achievement.
yet, but when are you coming to meet him in person?
I'm hoping May.
Did you
He'll be
hear
so
that,
big
Bubba?
by then.
She
I
said,
kind of
May,
smiled a little
Bubba.
bit.
Yeah, you hear that?
Are you gonna hold
You're
me do
into
that?
Carissa. Yes, that's why I'm showing you to him so you can
That's
feel
right.
guilty if you don't. Right,
Okay.
Bubba? He's like, I have no idea what's going on.
It's like there's a person on the screen, but I don't know if she's real.
I know he's just now starting to like track people like in like over FaceTime and on computers, and he's like,
hmm
what
It
is
is so funny
happening?
to see small children like connect with like video chats. Like dogs
Yeah.
don't at all. Like they just don't understand what's going on. But human
No.
babies learn shockingly quickly that that person
Yeah.
is like a real person that you should pay attention to.
Yeah, it's weird. I think for that
Mhm.
all the time. I'm like, how do you know that that's a person? Like, I don't know that I feel like I don't know that I would, but to me, I'm so not old enough for this to be true, but for me it still feels so new. Like
Yeah,
Skype, Like I was like
exactly.
Skype is mind-blowing and now it's,
Yeah.
many iterations past that, but
hmm
and then babies are just like, yeah, I'm already ahead of
I
you,
got this.
mom. Like I
Yeah.
understand this, and then he's gonna already understand technology way better than me by the time he's like in first grade.
Yep.
Uh, So yeah, so I had a child. His name is Riley Dragonslayer O'Rourke. We actually did it. We did the thing. It's not a joke. Some people like to think it's a joke for some reason, but it's not. He has been and is still he was above the 100th percentile, so in the little chart up above in length. Now he's just at the 99th percentile, so much smaller now. So he is longer, I believe, than his cousin Sutton, who is 10 weeks older than him. And he is in like the 40th percentile for weight, which is a huge relief, because think if he was in the 99th percentile for height and weight. Like, he's this long gangly thing to try and carry around. So like with the extra weight, that would be insane.
That's right.
He's got some tummy sensitivities. So literally the last, however many, 3 months of my life have been me trying to recover, me getting repeated mastitis infections, which are very painful. And then me trying to get back into the swing of working, taking care of the house and farm, and figuring out what this child is sensitive to. Figured it out. He is allergic to the protein in cow's milk, which is a very common, apparently, infant sensitivity. And also oats, which is not as common and is annoying because that was most of my diet, especially when I had to stop drinking cow's milk. I was drinking oat milk.
Right.
So
gotta go soy milk or goat milk.
Yeah. Rice milk. And then for him, I started him on he mostly we do breastfeeding, but then sometimes he'll go through a growth spurt and he will drink way more than I can supply. And so then I have a thing of goat's milk formula.
Nice. Yeah. I like that one, he says.
Yeah. He's like, I just need milkies. So yeah. And he has just now hit the stranger danger separation anxiety phase, where he's like, wait, the arms holding me belong to different people. Wait a minute.
This?
I thought this was all just one person. Yeah. And now I know that there's different people, and all I know is that my mommy holds me every day, and I love my mommy, and you're not my mommy, so I'm gonna scream. And he gets over it after like a minute or two, and he's like, oh wait, you're worshiping me, you're loving me, I love being loved. And he's like, all good now. But despite my not trying intentionally to not be a helicopter parent, and I've never been like overly precious about him, like, and I'm like, yeah, you want to hold him, sure, you can hold him, but it doesn't matter, because he's a little emotionally fragile.
No,
which I also, from working at a preschool and an infant room for 3 years, I just think that little boys are more fragile emotionally than little girls. I don't know why. They're just a little clingier. They're a little more sensitive, a little less independent. So sweet though. Not that the little girls aren't, but like little boys are just such sweet little munchkins. So he's definitely confirming all of these hypotheses I had about little boys. I feel like on my life update is just stuff about my child, but I mean, he's 3 months old, so that's been my life. I'm trying to think if I have any other updates. It's the winter, so I don't.
Your mom got married.
Things. My mom got married.
That's the only thing I know
of. That really is it. It was my niece was born, but that was before we went on break, so you already knew about that. And then my kid was born. And then my mom got married, and it was so sweet. It was just like a little like 35-person wedding or something, like teeny-eeny. And it was so beautiful and sweet. And Lexi, our friend and fellow writer, and she's been on our sister podcast, That Pretentious Book Club, a few times. She was actually the photographer. So that was fun.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Beautiful pictures. Yeah, she takes gorgeous pictures. So that was exciting. And then oh yes, and she's joining our D&D campaign. I knew there was something else. Yes. Yeah.
We haven't been playing that much, obviously, because like Ash went and had a baby, so
Yeah, but you know what's funny is I'm actually the least of the problem, because I'm still willing to get on and like play virtually, which is awesome, by the way. Yeah, I know, Bubba. I know. You've even said
like, I want to play. I have the name for it and everything.
Yeah, he's like, I'm here. I'm ready. We're not the problem. Yes. But my sister and her husband are now youth pastors at our church, which is exciting. And they're so perfect for that. And the kids already love them. But it does mean that their availability on weekends is a little more limited. And then that plus our Casper, which is Kendall, which is Spoons, also from our sister podcast.
Can you guys keep this straight?
Yeah. Do you guys, come on, guys. It's been a hot minute, I know, but seriously, I believe in you. But she is this is her social season, is what I always call it. Around the
Mm.
holidays, she's always very in demand. She's got a lot of events to go to. Her birthday is coming up this weekend, so
Ah.
that's exciting. It's a Pride and Prejudice themed tea party.
Ooh, that sounds
So
awesome.
that's exciting. And I was so excited. I RSVP'd yes immediately. And then a bunch of other girls that I don't really know that are also Kendall's friends RSVP'd. And I was like,
Wait.
wait a minute. My social anxiety is like, great. That's a lot
Yeah.
of girls I don't know. But it's funny because there's that line in Pride and Prejudice that her friend, whose name I can't remember right now, that Elizabeth Bennet's friend says about like,
Mhm.
I'm 27, I'm unmarried,
Yeah.
I'm a burden to my or whatever. And I
Yeah.
don't know that that's why that Kendall picked that theme, but I have a strong suspicion she's going to whip that joke out of her pocket, or there's going to
Mhm.
be like printouts of that scene at this party. I feel
Yeah.
certain.
I did
So
that TikTok sound, which it was
yeah,
pretty great.
it
So I
is
enjoy
funny.
that line.
It's good. It's a really good one. So that was hysterical.
Mhm.
And so her birthday is, she's obviously, I know. She's turning 27.
Mhm.
So Bubba has strong feelings about it because he's a boy, but he has to go to this all girls party because
Ugh.
mama's got the milky, so you go where mommy goes. Ooh. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much my life. Yeah. My kid talks probably as much as I do. I don't know if he's gonna do that the
Nice.
whole episode, but he's
Impressive.
talking minimally, I know, right now. But he will just stare at you and just talk at you like loudly for
Oh.
hours.
Like I
Did you
have
just
things to
whack mommy
say.
again? I
I
know
don't
he
have
does,
time
and
to
he's like,
learn
and you're
language.
gonna listen and figure it out. And so I talk gibberish to him a lot too, along with normal talks. But if you hear me go, I get the you, that's why, because that's just how I've begun talking. And my brain doesn't work very well these days. They talked about pregnancy brain. I had it a little for sure. It's nothing compared to new mom brain. I have a
Hmm.
child who still wakes up every 1 to 2 hours. That's insane. And he has just now begun like taking decent, like 2-ish hour naps during the day in his
Yeah.
crib. So that's fun, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm exhausted, and I drove to meet my new stepfather.
Yeah.
I drove to meet him to give him like this like little nebulizer thing for Lily, my one of my new step siblings.
Hmm.
She's so sweet. So anyways, drove to meet him to give that to him for her, and ended up going to the wrong place, but literally took me like 15 minutes to figure out because I was like fully believed I had driven to a different town than I had. Like,
Wow.
not that I'm like amazing at like navigation. I'm directionally challenged for sure, but that has never happened. I
Like you
know,
had the
Bubba.
wrong city or you ended up in the wrong city. Like you
I
were
ended
purposely
up
going to the wrong place or you were trying to go to the right place and ended up somewhere else.
I was trying to go to the right place and I ended up
Okay.
somewhere else and couldn't even figure it out. I went to a Whataburger that we were eating outside of Whataburger,
Hmm.
and there's two on the same highway, but one is on a highway in my town and one is on a highway in the next town. And I thought I had gone fully believed I had gone all the way into the next town and had made the right and had made the turn and was waiting at that Whataburger. And so I was like so confused that I didn't see him. And I was just like looking around like I don't recognize where I am at all.
Oh
Been there
no.
100 million times. Yep. Anyways, I've never felt more crazy in my life. But that's where I'm at. So
Nice. And that's saying
that's my
something
life.
because you've always felt crazy. So
I know it's absolutely true. So I definitely have a an appointment with a therapist later this week to talk through some postpartum depression because it makes you
mm.
confused. You're
Aw.
like, I'm too tired and sad to think straight.
You
So,
just need
anyways,
isolation and total separation from your child, Ash. Haven't you heard?
yeah, obviously. And I just need some like really soothing yellow wallpaper to look
Yeah.
at, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe shapes
Right,
will
Bubba?
appear in it.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe they'll coach me into becoming less crazy, not more crazy. Of
Exactly.
course. I am happy to say though, although I do think I've got a touch of the postpartum depression, which is not shocking with my history. It is not insanely severe, which is great. My kiddo is still on the bad days, he's still the only thing that makes me feel better, which is
Uh,
amazing. I love him. Are you my best friend? Is that unhealthy? Say, don't nurture a codependent relationship, Mom.
I see you've thought about this.
Yeah, well, because I'm like, God, I love this kid so much. I just want to snuggle him and hang out with him all day. And like when other people hold him, I'm like jealous. I'm like, okay, but give him back now.
Yeah, he's mine. He's mine.
But I still need him back. So, anyways, and I'm like, okay, Ash, don't be codependent, because he's in his little clingy stage. I'm like, we could so quickly become the only people that each other likes, but we're not going to do that.
Let's strive to not let that happen.
Yeah, but after like the first couple of weeks, when I just had baby blues, which is just a very normal part of having a kid, and my baby blues were a little extreme because I also could not move very well physically because of how rough that birth was, and then I got mastitis, so I was just like kind of down, and I was like, literally the only thing that was making me feel better was snuggling in bed with my baby.
No.
So he's a cutie pie, and
He is.
I'll stop just worshipfully declaring things about my child here, because I'm sure it's boring for everyone. But he says hello, and he wishes you all good milkies, which is all that he cares about, really. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Good
so good.
He's like, milkies. We joked for a while that before he recognized people, now he recognizes like that people are different, but before he was just like, there's Daddy, who was his best friend, and there's Milkies, and that's me. Right. But now I think he knows that Mommy is Milkies. Amazing.
The same person. Whoa.
Favorite things in the same person. Exactly. Mommy and Milkies. So
amazing.
Anyways. Yeah. So that's good. I think that's everything in my life and Riley's life, because I suspect that unfortunately I'm gonna be that mom that's like, what's going on in your life? And I'm like, well, today Riley.
Yeah. Let me tell you about my son.
So my son, because he's perfect and an angel baby and has never made any mistakes, and he never will, and better than everyone else's kid.
Obviously.
I'm trying so hard not to be that parent. Y'all have no idea. The instinct is strong. Anyways, okay. Do you have any book recs that you would like to share?
Book recs. Yes. So I've started reading. Oh, okay. Well, I'll talk about this. I totally failed my Goodreads goal last year, but I don't feel like a total failure because of the writing updates.
Because you wrote several books?
Yes. Yeah. But anyway, at the end of the year, I crammed in 2 more, and I have the third one just kind of ready here. And I'm sure you guys have heard of this, but it's the Song of the Lioness Quartet by Tamara Pierce. Is that how you say her name? Tamara Pierce. Have you look like blank? Oh,
because you were like, I'm sure you all know this, and I'm like, I don't know.
You've never heard of her, like the author?
I might have heard of the. Bless you. Bless you. Bless you.
Bless you.
Bless you. He sneezes like his father. It's like usually 3 to 6 times at once.
Nice.
I believe I've heard of the author, but I don't think I've heard of the book.
Okay, so the first one is called, again, is it Alana? Alana? It's Alanna. And I think it's Alana. It's Alana, the First Adventure, or something like that. Anyway, it's like a high fantasy series, and there are 4 books, thus quartet. And everyone has been telling me for years to read her. And they are I don't know when they were written. I get the sense they were written in like the 90s or early 2000s, because they're very 90s 2000s-esque, if that makes sense. Like there's not a huge emphasis on the romance or on like the first book takes place over I think 2 or 3 years, so it's kind of giving like this big broad spectrum kind of picture. But I really like them, and I'm halfway through. I read the first 2 books. So yeah, they're good. Did I like the second one more? I don't know. The first one felt more like a children's book, like Harry Potter coming of age kind of thing. And then the second one felt more like a young adult book. And then I get the sense that the third and fourth will feel like adult books because she's older. So I know, and I kind of like that journey. So I'm holding off judgment on the series as a whole, but I did really like the first 2. So
yeah,
there we go. Those are my book recs.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find my book recs because I have read some books recently, but I don't know. I can't find it. So what, Bubba,
have you read any books
rec?
to Riley?
I have.
Midnight Moon?
I was about to say
perhaps.
Goodnight Moon. That's a good book rec. We've got Baby
Mhm.
Beluga. He would probably
Mm.
book rec. Oh, and Corduroy. We read Corduroy
Oh,
too, which is pretty
yay.
cute. So I think he would recommend. He just would recommend any books, to be honest. Because he likes to be talked to. I think he likes it when we read books with him.
Aw.
Oh, excuse you. Which is all the baby sounds. He just burped into the microphone. I swear. I don't know if you have a future in broadcasting, son.
Shame.
Shame. What a shame. My mom thinks, I probably said this before, but she thinks he's going to be a preacher. So
Oh, that's
he
right. You
does.
did say that.
Yeah, he's got a lot to say,
Yeah.
which is pretty cute. I wish I could remember the book recs. I literally have, and I got like a new book. I can't remember that. No Beauties, Only Beasts, or something like that. It's a book that Javi got me for Christmas. I mean, Santa. He signed everything from Santa this
Oh my
year,
gosh.
which was super funny. I know. So I will have more book recs in the future. And I got 2
Mm.
books from Book of the Month, which I didn't need to do for
Yay.
my wallet, but I did need to do for my depression. So I'm very excited.
Cool.
I know, Baba. You don't need
Oh.
any more. You have so many books. We have to read those first. I know, but you already have a bunch to read. His TBR
Same.
list is crazy.
I want so many other books too, Riley. I get it. I say buy them all. Just flash those cute eyes and she'll get you whatever you want.
You know, it's actually extremely true. 100%. I'm like, you
Just
can
take
have whatever you
advantage.
want. Oh God. Here, do you want your passy? Yeah, don't fuss for no reason. That's so silly. He'll look at you, be totally happy, and then he'll knock his passy out and then scream. And then you put the passy back and he's like, good, that's what I wanted. And I'm like, you literally
You
are
had
your
it.
own problem. You had it. You're the one who caused the problem.
Oh my gosh.
You just spit out your passy in order to yawn. Did you know that you wouldn't yawn if you would take your freaking naps? He's like, okay. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Mind-blowing.
I am 3 months old, so
I don't know what you're saying.
I have no idea what you're talking about. This is probably your fault though, Mom. So yeah, no book recs here except from Bubba's, but I will hopefully soon. And if you guys have not ever joined Book of the Month Club, it's worth considering because it's exciting.
No, I've
They've
never
had some
done
really good ones.
Yeah, I've never done any kind of like book subscription thing, and I don't know, they are very tempting.
I love this book subscription. I have
Yeah.
gotten some really good ones from, like, they've got really good choices, and they always have like a whole like a nice like array of genres to pick from. So
Yeah.
they always have like a YA fantasy, they always have a fantasy, they usually have like a slice of life inspirational type fiction. And then they usually have like some kind of thriller. So I'm often struggling to pick between like the fantasy, YA fantasy, and the thriller. Like, because those are the genres. But what do you have on your face? Did I get pen on you? That's okay. You're probably fine.
Fine, just take notes on him. He
It's
doesn't
all
care.
good. Yeah. So do we have a word of the week?
We do. And I'm realizing I think I know how to say this, but I'm not sure. Is it Saturnine? Saturnine? Saturniine. And it means gloomy, cold, and unfeeling or morose.
Ooh,
which
Saturnine.
I know, which I feel describes the weather here lately, and I love it. But also I think it's supposed to describe people. I think it's supposed to be like a personality thing.
Like my postpartum depression makes me Saturnine.
Yes, exactly.
But I would agree, if you're going to use it to describe weather, we've had some pretty Saturnine weather out here too, and it's actually like it as well. It's nice. It makes me feel the opposite of Saturnine. It makes me feel unsaturnine.
Yes, the Saturnine weather makes me feel unsaturnine.
Makes me feel unsaturnine.
Like it.
I can't think of a way to use the word wrong, because it's just like, this is a word we should be using commonly. It totally works.
It's a great word.
I like it. What a good word for our first week back.
I thought so. That got that January weather thing going on.
Yeah, it is. I like it. Ooh, Bubba agrees.
There you go. Right. Riley approved.
Riley approved. Riley's like, I will approve anything if it will get me closer to Milky's. Do we want to get into the theme for this episode?
Yes. I said that weirdly cheerful. Sorry.
Yes. That was not Saturnine of you at all.
No, it was not. I just switched gears completely. We're gonna give, well, it was your suggestion for the episode, so correct me if I went totally off guard. off topic, but we're going to talk about like the new year and how to stay on task and how to like get your writing
Yeah.
goals achieved. So figured this was
Mm-hmm.
really the only time that would make sense to do this episode for the next year.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
it's kind of like New Year's resolutions ish,
Hmm.
but specifically for writing and writing habits and all that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, can you guess why I recommended this one?
Because you want me to give you tips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I failed myself last year.
Yeah.
But I have a problem where I will just upfront say, and maybe we can do our New Year's resolutions here first. Because
Oh, okay.
I know, my primary, I know, dude, right now, I'm fessing up right
Let her
now.
talk.
Oh
She will
my
say
God.
it.
I'm going to say it. Okay.
I know you know what she's gonna say, but let her say it.
So my New Year's resolution, it actually relates to my ability to complete all of the goals writing wise that I want to this year, if I do it
Mhm.
right. My New Year's resolution is to somehow be more okay with the mess. I have a
Hmm.
hard time being okay with mess, and I have a hard
Wow.
time being okay procrastinating. I know, it stresses me out.
Life's
So
hard.
it's hard. So I usually will use all of my extra time in a day to be like, okay, well, I've got all these chores to take care of around the house and around the farm. But the thing is, they never stop. There's always more. And
Hmm.
there's always more I could even do in a day. So it's not that in my head, I'm like, I'm not procrastinating from writing because this is stuff that needs to happen. And it's stuff that needs to happen if I require a tidy environment. But if I can change my requirements and if I
Hmm.
can be a little more okay with things being kind of messy and haphazard,
Yeah.
then I will have more time. So I that's my New Year's resolution, which is actually really hard to try and be okay, to accept the mess. Hashtag accept the
Nice.
mess. So that's it does relate, it enables me to pursue my writing goals. So
Hmm.
that's
That's where
my
you can
my
cut time, essentially.
yeah,
Yeah.
essentially. So that's my New Year's resolution that's
Yeah.
gonna cause me physical and emotional pain. So
Yeah. Fun
yeah.
times.
Yeah. Do you have any New Year's resolutions that you want to start out with?
You know, I'm not really a New Year's resolution person because I usually forget that it is the new year.
Mm-hmm.
So I never come up with anything.
Yep.
I think I don't know if this is a resolution, but it's like my goal that I came up with earlier today is that I want to, it's so random, but I want to enter the Writers of the Future contest all 4 quarters this year. You know what I
Oh,
mean? So
nice.
4 short
That's a good
stories,
one.
that's reasonable. But that's kind of like my goal because usually for the past, I think I've been entering it now for like 5 or 6 years, and I did get an honorable mention once, which was
You
nice.
did. I remember that
Yeah,
story vividly.
yeah, and I think I have like enough material to submit 4 stories, like potentially new ones. You can resubmit stuff you've already submitted, so worst case scenario, I could do that. But I've usually only entered like once or twice a year,
Hmm.
and again, because I forget the deadline, because being okay with the mess and procrastinating are not my issues. I do that all the time. I procrastinate like crazy and I'm like, wait, that ended a month ago. So,
Yep.
um, I want to try to remember that. And I think the key to that is I need to enter the short story at the beginning of the quarter instead of waiting until midnight on
Hmm.
the end, which is also what I normally do.
Yeah, that stresses
Um,
me out.
mhm.
I'm someone who's like midnight on opening day.
Yeah.
Like the minute
Let's camp
after we
out.
open. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Which I
Yeah.
also don't need to do. There is a happy medium.
Right, exactly. So I think that's just kind of my general goal. And then also my pastor said this the other day about like Bible verse memorization. So I think I'm gonna get one of
Hmm.
those apps that helps you like
Nice.
memorize more Bible verses. I don't have like a numeric goal or anything, but just memorizing more of those. So those aren't like big
Yeah.
life changes, but I think those are good. Those are achievable for me. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
gonna go with.
I like that they're measurable. That's nice.
Yeah.
I think everyone should have
Smart
some
goals.
measurable New Year's resolutions. Yeah, smart.
Yeah.
Exactly. I just bought myself a spiral Bible, a New Testament spiral
Yay.
Bible. I don't know if you've seen them, but they're very cool. It's like a spiral version and it's got like
Mhm.
note space to take notes, which is nice because
Ah,
usually I'm like
cool.
cramming my little notes
Yeah.
into the margin. And if I
Exactly.
don't write notes on something, I won't remember it. If I'm not writing something, I'm not going to remember it. I don't know
Right.
why, but so now I can do that better. So hopefully I actually will.
Yeah,
Um,
cool.
but ways to stay on task, which is related but slightly different.
Mhm.
What right off the bat, what would you say your go-to methods for staying on task are?
Um, I mean, I don't know. I wrote like a bunch of stuff down. I'm not even sure if any of it is helpful. Um, I think staying on task is mostly about like keeping your eye on the prize, if that makes sense, which I feel is bad advice because a lot of times, you want to take things incrementally, but
Mm-hmm.
there are times when I'll be, thinking like, well, I need to write. And I'll be
Yeah.
like, but I don't want to. And the thing that usually gets me to stay on task and do it anyway is like, if you don't do today, you won't do tomorrow. And then like a year from now, you won't have made any progress. Right. So I
So
like
think of the
to
big picture. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And guilt, which I don't know that I want to give other people that advice, but I use that all the time.
I
So,
know that one's a hard one because I definitely
yeah.
want to be like, do not, guilt yourself when you don't have time or energy, because it's not
Mhm.
psychologically healthy, but it's also so effective. But
Exactly.
there's got to be something that's more effective than that.
Yeah.
Right,
So I
Bubba?
do think exactly. I do think looking
Yeah.
big picture can help though, because when I think about where I want to be, like you have to give yourself like we were saying, like measurable, manageable steps to get there.
Yeah.
It can't just be this like pipe dream. You have to have steps to get there. But I
Yeah.
do think that end goal, keeping your eye on that can be helpful. So they're making faces if you
Sorry,
guys
I
can't
just
see.
wanted to get him to smile for y'all. You guys can also see the baby smile if you watch this on YouTube.
That's right. What was I gonna say?
So
That
sorry.
no, you're good. I mean, babies are distracting in a good way. So
Baby smiles, I will absolutely sidebar to tell everyone. Did you know that when a baby smiles, like at their mom, the mom, like the part of the mom's brain that lights up is the same as like when you get like a what do you call it? A high off of drugs like cocaine.
nice.
Yeah, it lights up the
So
same part of the brain.
to get off of
It's like,
drugs, just have a baby.
yep.
It'll
Horrible
keep you on
advice.
task. Worst advice ever.
Truly the worst advice ever. But
Yeah.
it is like a little like I guess it's like the reward part of the brain lights up when a baby smiles at you. Not just moms. I think in general when babies smile, for most people. So,
I
anyways,
would
I wanted
agree
to
with
give you
that.
all a little dopamine rush. So hopefully you
Exactly.
guys
There you
got
go.
one.
So you stay on task. Boom.
It's true.
Um, so I remembered my point. So I think like as writers, I think it is a good idea to know where you want to be at like what's the end goal? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
do you want do you want to go traditional? Do you want to go indie? Do you want to sell a certain number of copies? Do you want to have a certain number of books published? Like, just generally speaking, where do you want to be? And
Yeah.
if you have a good idea of what the outcome looks like, I think it's easier to stay on task because then you can come up with like reasonable steps to get there. Right. So
Yeah.
I think sometimes a mistake that writers make is just, well, I just want to write. And I think that's usually kind of where you're going to end up failing because that's not something you can write, but that's not, you're never going to reach the goal at that point because there is no goal.
Mm-hmm.
There's no
Yeah.
goalpost, right? So
So
I think
define your
having
goals
yeah,
first. Yeah.
exactly. To have like an actual concrete idea about where you want to be, not even just a year from now, but like what are your overall writing goals? Like, do you have a message you want to send? You have a certain group of people you want to reach? Do you want to, encourage something, discourage something? And how do you want to do that? Then I think that can be helpful because I think I've I talk about how many books I write and stuff, but I think the reason that I'm able to do that is because I'm so focused on that end goal that
Mm-hmm.
it's like harder to stray than to stay on task. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You want to make it easier for yourself to stay on task than to go do something else. Um,
Yes.
and I think if you have that concrete end goal, that can be helpful. So I don't know what you
Yeah.
think about that. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I agree. I think having a concrete end goal, I mean, if you don't know what you're striving towards, your motivation dissipates really quickly. And it's
Yep.
kind of like if you get in the car and you start driving and you don't have a destination in mind, what are you going to do? Like,
Yeah.
you just going to drive in circles? You're not going to
Mhm.
get anywhere if you don't know where you're going. So,
Yep.
I think that applies to like big picture goals. Like, I want to be published or I want to have Like I want to be traditionally published, or I want to be self-published and I want to have this many readers, or I want to be a name in the genre. Like big picture goals, great. And then I think where you kind of can start to build yourself a roadmap to actually have the like little achievable goals is like you build more like smaller, milestone goals. Like I want to have this many books written. I want to have I want to have a book ready for a beta reader for beta readers by this date. I want to get this much done this year. I want to experiment with these different genres. So like, and you can kind of like break those out into smaller and smaller milestones. Like I want to write this many chapters a week. Or, I want to have something ready for someone else to do a sample read of by this date. Whatever it is that that motivates you, that excites you about the process, that's probably a good place to put a goal, because you'll feel excited about getting there to get to do it. It gives you a little dopamine rush. If it excites you to have people read your stuff, then say by this date, I'm going to have something ready for this person to read. If that stresses you out, maybe that's not one of your goals, because you're going to dread getting to it instead of be excited about it. So,
True.
Or you could also try like the rewards method, which may be something I should try. Like when you finish this many chapters, you're going to take yourself out on like an exciting date. You're going to go get your nails done, or going to go and do something that you don't usually do. You're going to go on a overnight trip or something. You're going to go to, I don't know, a theme park. Like when you get to like the halfway point of your book, or when you finish writing your book, whatever it is. I think that I should probably be doing some of that too. I need to set that for myself. I'm writing it down.
Note to
Set
self.
rewards. Note to self. Reward system. Yep. These are my first thoughts on staying on task.
Also, like, to go back to that car analogy, I do not remember who said this to me. I think it's probably like an analogy that existed before, but the idea is it's harder to steer a parked car than a moving car. So if you're having trouble staying on task, just do something. It doesn't have to be productive. It doesn't have to be even in pursuit of that main goal. Just start doing something. So like if you're a new writer and you're like, well, I don't really know what my big picture goal is yet, then just start writing and maybe you'll figure it out, because it's way easier to steer a moving car than a parked car. You'll actually get somewhere.
That is so true. So true. And I totally agree. This is where like it can be kind of fun to enter like little contests, even if it's like for a short story and you don't usually write short stories, or it's a story in a genre you don't usually do, because just doing something is good. Like I just started using this app I tried to join it to try and help with my like physical health and stuff, but they also have like mental health mindset challenges that you can join. So I joined one that is a challenge for writing 99 words a day of like some short story or other, and it's a different prompt every day. And 99 words takes like 5 to 10 minutes to write. And it's only 99 words, so it's like a micro short story. So anyone can do it, even if you're not a writer. But even if you're a writer who doesn't have any idea what they want to do, where they want to go, you can do something like this. 99 words a day of a random prompt, or just like pick a random picture on Google. You can absolutely do that. And it is so weirdly motivating. I have written I've done this for 2 days in a row now, and it has been awesome. It feels like breathing for the first time in a while. So it also can be a good way to get your feet wet if you've been kind of out of it for a minute. And I also am shocked that I have started writing books, because in my head it's always books, because I'm a long form writer. I'm not a short form writer. But the things I've written have both been like more for like a thriller, which I've never written anything like a thriller before. I've been reading them more often in the last year, so that's probably why. But it's interesting, and it's stuff that I never would have thought of. And it also makes me feel more capable of like pursuing my bigger picture goals. So it can also kind of, even doing things like Karissa said, that like just do something. It will make you feel closer to your goal than you were. And you are, because you're moving.
It's kind of like you kind of talked about your physical health. Like it is sort of like exercise. Like it's really hard to say I want to run a marathon, but if you just get up and take a walk around your neighborhood, you're getting moving, and maybe you eventually get to the marathon. So
yeah, exactly. You're a lot closer than if you're just sitting on the couch, like a lot closer. And if you go on a walk every day or every other day, then you're building up your stamina and you're getting better at what you're doing. And it becomes even easier, and it becomes even more possible that you're going to be able to run the marathon, in fact, likely. And to the point, if you keep doing it, it's almost like, well, why not run a marathon? I'm so good at this. I got this. I got this skill set under my belt.
Mm-hmm.
And so that can be, I don't know, maybe like pick like a, like what sounds like fun. I think that's part of the
Mm-hmm.
reward system thing. Like
Yeah.
if writing used to be fun for you and now it's not, and you've lost some of the magic of it, well, that's kind of probably the root of the problem. Because even if you do write for a living, which I know for a lot of us that's the dream, but maybe it's just a hobby. Regardless, if it's lost its magic for you and you want to get back to it for whatever reason, like try to remember why it was fun, recapture the fun. And if that sounds like kind of an abstract task, I think a great way to do it is to do something like join like a little writing a day prompt challenge,
Mm-hmm.
or do some stream of consciousness writing, sit down and just do some free writing. Go sit somewhere and just write about everything that you see. So maybe all of these don't sound like all equally fun, but you might be surprised by what they kind of spark. Sometimes just the act of
Mm-hmm.
writing can kind of like trigger that little reward feeling that you've had before writing, so you feel like you've accomplished something, even if you're like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I don't write short stories. I don't either. I don't like short stories.
Right.
But for some reason these short little writing prompts are like really satisfying, and I think it's almost just reminding myself, oh yeah, I can do this. Oh, there is a reason that I dedicated, all of my hopes and dreams to writing, basically.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason, because I feel like I have, something of a affinity for it, and
Yeah.
then also I really enjoy it. It's fun.
Right.
So yeah, I think that trying to recapture the magic first, if you're feeling really unmotivated but it's not something that you want to give up, then just try a bunch of different writing exercises. The writing exercises that we used to do in school and grown about, just because it was you grown about it because it's at school and it's assigned to you, sound like fun to me now.
Yeah. Now they're like, hey, I want to do that now.
I'm gonna do that for fun.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is my
Writing an
hobby now.
essay almost sounds fun.
Yeah.
So yeah. So recapture the magic. Maybe that's step one. And then step two is you know, decide on your destination, because by then
Mm-hmm.
you're moving. You pick
Yep.
it, you pick your big picture goals, and then maybe you start to set your milestone goals and you pick your rewards for those milestones. And then
Mm-hmm.
you can make your roadmap. Like, what does that look like for you to reach those milestones, to reach the big goal? Now that you're
Mm-hmm.
motivated and moving, what does that look like? Does that look like, are you someone who can say, okay, I'm going to spend this week focused on writing and then I'm going to take a break for a week? Or are you someone who needs to write a little bit every day?
Mm-hmm.
How much can you feasibly write in a day or in a week?
Right.
And set realistic goals for yourself. This is very much me
Yes.
at myself.
Yeah.
Realistic goals, Ash, because
I
otherwise you will feel discouraged when you cannot
yes.
meet your unrealistic goals.
I would also say lowball your goals, don't highball them or even go in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Yep.
I like I said, I failed my Goodreads goal. It's usually 100 books. If I put my goal at 50, I probably would have reached 100. You know what I mean? Because once you
Yeah.
get there, everything else is extra and it becomes so much
Yep.
easier to do it because you're
Yes.
not stressed. You already
Yep.
reached the goal. So
Yep.
if you want to write a 100,000 word book in so much time, don't tell yourself I need to write 5,000 words a day. Tell yourself you need to write 500 a day. And you'll probably
Yep.
end up getting closer to 5,000. Not that you would necessarily get there every day, but
Yeah.
you would get closer to
Yeah.
that number than if that was
Yep.
like the actual goal.
I know.
So,
And I know that you overachievers out there are doing this like math game in your head where you're like,
mhm.
okay, well, what would a normal person put for their normal versus their challenging? And you're like
Mhm.
trying to figure a way that you can kind of like trick the system
Yeah.
into being like, I'm still going to set my goal at either like a normal amount or a higher amount than most people. Don't do it. I can even say last year I got the most writing done for my book that I did not finish. But when I was actually using this methodology where I was like, okay, I'm going to write a certain amount of week, I picked a chapter a week. For
hmm
me, that feels like nothing because I'm kind of
Yeah.
a sprinting writer. Like I will usually just do all of my writing at once that I can for the book, and I'll finish a whole book, like writing it in
Right.
like 2 weeks, a month. That's kind of been my MO. But
Right.
because I did not, it was not a time in my life where I could do that. And it's still not. I was like, I guess I'm going to have to try this like writing a certain amount of week thing. And I'm going
hmm
to lowball it. And I'm going to super lowball it for me, which was a chapter a week. And I was writing 2 chapters a week, 3 chapters a week, which was significantly more than before I
Yeah.
had set that goal for myself when I was writing exactly nothing a week.
hmm
So
Because you're
definitely
still meeting
lowball yourself.
goals, you're still
Yeah.
you're still making progress, but the stress is
Yeah.
gone for once you meet the goal.
It
So
is. It's amazing.
great.
And then you
Yes.
feel energized, and you might find that you can do more. But if you find that you're not energized, there's no guilt that you don't
Right.
have more to write because you met your goal. So
Exactly.
it's
This is a great
amazing.
strategy for life in general. This is
It
basically
really
what I've used
is.
to thrive my entire existence. So,
It's a really good one.
yeah.
It's funny. It's also it's being nice to yourself.
Hmm.
It's kind of like where you don't need the guilt. It like
Hmm.
eliminates the situation where you would need to use guilt to
Like the
motivate
reverse of
yourself.
guilt. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't know, just like instead of guilting yourself for not meeting the goal, you're like
You just set a
achieving
reasonable
more.
goal that
Yeah.
you can achieve without needing guilt as a
Hmm.
lever to try and make yourself meet future goals. You can
Yep.
just set a reasonable goal, be proud of yourself, maybe exceed it, be extra proud of yourself, set a reasonable goal, be proud of yourself, maybe exceed the goal, be extra proud of yourself. Like it's just like a happy little cycle with lots of
Yeah.
reward. And then if you're setting something like, I'm going to go to my favorite restaurant when I get 10 chapters done, that is
Especially
extra
good.
exciting. Extra
Yes.
exciting. And then maybe you're like, well, I've already met my super reasonable goal. But if I push myself really hard, then I get to go to my favorite restaurant tomorrow instead of next week.
Right.
And then there's some motivation that is positive, like when you're
Yes.
training a dog instead of
I was gonna say it's a
negative.
carrot, not a stick.
Carrot, not a stick. I think carrot, not a stick is the only way to make progress writing without damaging your mental health. Because I
Probably.
think, especially a lot of writers tend to be extra introspective. And with that tends to
Hmm.
come a lot of self criticism.
A
And
lot of
while a little bit
sticks.
of that is good, we don't need any more sticks, I don't think.
It's true.
Writers, it just
Probably
happens
true.
naturally. So I don't think we need to add any.
Yeah.
Self flagellation,
Yeah.
flagellation, flagellation,
I think it's
flagellation,
flagellation.
flagellation. That's what it is. It's
Flagellation.
the j sound. So for
Yes.
me, I was like, is it a D? Is it a G? It's a j. It's
You know what
it's
word
that
I
thing that
always get
English
wrong?
does.
I
What?
know. I always get, okay, is it lament? I always, no, it's lament. And I always
Lament.
say lament.
Like
That's
laminate.
what it is. Uh-huh. Yeah. I was like, I was at my Bible study and I just read it straight through lament and I was like, oh no, I need to go back and correct that, even though
Oh
no one
no.
noticed but me.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
Laminate. That makes me think of laminate. So now I'm gonna say I'm
Lamentations.
lamentate. 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 I'm gonna start saying
Meditate.
lamentate like laminate instead, like something like
Hmm.
Michael Scott would do, and just like
Yeah.
keep going and just breeze through and be like, no one
This is
has
the word.
noticed that. This
Obviously,
is
this
the
is how you
word.
say it.
Yeah. My, how the turntables.
I use it all the time. I love it.
So good. Definitely
Uh,
doesn't make me want to lamentate. So,
exactly. Let's see what else. So I think my next thing is, as a writer, I think it is important to remember that staying on task can mean a variety of things. So like staring into space and daydreaming is still part of the writing process, and
still
reading is
staying
still
on
part of the
task.
writing process. So
Yeah.
you you do want to not get so hung up on that stuff that you forget to actually write, because this is something that happened to me for several years. You still have to eventually make like tangible progress, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But it is okay to give yourself like, I guess I would say like multiple goals. So like I said with Goodreads, because that's what I use, right? Give yourself a Goodreads goal, give yourself a writing goal, give yourself a couple different goals. And then if you meet one, not meeting the others won't feel like as big of a deal because you may have failed, but you all also have succeeded somewhere else. And
Mm-hmm.
so just finding like writing related goals, whether that's, reading a certain number of books, whether that's read like a certain author. Like I feel pretty cool that I've now read Tamara Pierce. Um, so that feels like an achievement. And just like giving yourself like the like variety, I guess, so that if you
Mm-hmm.
end up getting bored, if you're like, well, I really like this book and I want to keep writing, but right now I'm just not feeling it, you can go somewhere else and still be making progress. Like you can do like
Yeah.
Ash's like writing prompts to take a break or write a short story or like read a book or,
Join a
I don't know.
writing contest. There's writing
Yeah.
contests all the time. And it's almost
Yes.
always something where I go, I don't have anything written for this. And then, the logically I should just go, okay, well then I'll write something. But I'm like, but
Yeah.
I don't write in that genre. I don't write in that style. I
Mhm.
could literally just do it anyways.
Yeah, you could try it. There's
Could
no
just try it.
harm in trying it. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I think giving yourself variety and like the freedom to pursue variety, I think is really helpful because sometimes it can feel like if you do have that big picture goal, right? It can feel
Hmm.
like uh you're going on a tangent, right? Like you're going off
Yeah.
course, but you're
Yep.
not. You're just strengthening different skills for later on down the path, basically.
Hmm.
Like if you do, like I think you said, just go and write about what you see around you, right? Just that's
Hmm.
practicing writing skills. Like that's going to come up. You're going to get better descriptions. You're going to have better vocabulary. Like that's going to come in handy. And you might not
Yep.
necessarily be able to connect the specific moment that it comes into play, but you know that big picture it is. So,
Yeah.
having those variety of things that you can do to stay on task, I think is good.
Yeah.
And I know there are a lot of writers that I don't know, I don't have this problem, but they like start a project and then they don't finish it and then they go on
Hmm.
to another project. I
I had
think
that problem for a
balance,
while.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think balance is kind of the idea here. Like, yes, reading is part of writing, daydreaming is part of writing. There's nothing wrong with saying, I'm going to take a break from this project and start this other project that I'm really into right now. But you should probably have some sort of a limit on that if you do want to like make progress. Like, don't feel bad about needing a break from the thing you're working on or switching gears and saying, hey, I think this book idea actually would be more marketable. So I'm going to spend my time on that instead. But if you find yourself hopping like too many times, I think you just
Hmm.
have to pick one and stick with it for a while and maybe tone
Yeah.
down the variety. I think balance and variety is
I
uh,
agree.
a good point to get to.
Yeah, I think
So,
so. I think maybe set your rewards or maybe set like the rewards that you care most about
mhm,
specifically for whatever it is that you want to complete. So you're
mhm,
like, yeah, okay, I can like, take a detour and it's still good. I'm still doing writing practice. I'm doing my prompts or whatever.
yeah.
But it's not going to get me closer to getting to go to my favorite restaurant or whatever it is that he's motivated you. I'm obviously very hungry. I'm thinking about food.
Right.
So, uh there's still that extra motivation to like not get stuck off on like the
Mhm.
tangential things. However, they're still good to do. It's still you're strengthening your writing muscles. You want to strengthen all your writing muscle groups. So it's still
Yes.
good. It's still moving in the right direction. But it's not going to get you to your rewards and it's not going to get you directly to your big picture goals. So,
Mhm. Yeah. And I think you just kind of have to think about what kind of a person you are. Like obviously I'm the kind of person that is maybe too focused and Ash is maybe the kind that gets a little more distracted. So
it's
you just
true.
have to know which one you are. So maybe I need to keep in mind it's okay to have variety and maybe Ash needs to keep in mind like okay, I need to really focus on this idea. So
Hmm.
knowing which personality you are can also be helpful to know, okay, I need to be stricter with myself on sticking with this project versus
Yep.
I'm usually pretty strict with myself, so I can take a break and go do this thing instead.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
yeah, but the
absolutely.
reward thing is a good idea there too. Like it's still productive, but I still want to get to this reward, so I'm not going to abandon that path entirely. That's a
Yeah.
good.
It's fun. And you can
Mhm.
set if you have different things, you're like, well, I just want to make sure like that I get this much writing done a week. But you also are like, okay, I do want to finish writing this book specifically, but I don't know if I have all the motivation to get that done right now. So you set different rewards. Like maybe you have
Right.
like a mini reward, like I'm gonna go buy myself half a dozen donuts
Hmm.
if I do a little bit of writing of some kind every day this week. But it's
Right.
not the same as my big picture. I'm gonna take myself on a weekend vacation when I finish writing that book you know?
Right.
So,
Exactly. So yeah,
yeah.
that is true.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else? What did you have?
Um, I don't know.
Oh, well, okay, I have a couple more. I think it's a good idea. This is kind of like a goal thing. So I don't know if
Mhm.
it's stay on task, but it's related. Don't set goals for yourself that are dependent on other people's actions because this is something
Yes.
that I used to do too. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to get an agent this year. But like that's dependent on someone else doing something. And so you're just so much more likely to be disappointed. So a
Mhm.
better goal would be I'm going to send out a certain number of queries, right?
Yes.
So because that's in your control. And
Yeah.
obviously, like it kind of sucks that some things are out of your control in the writing world, but it is a
Yeah.
reality. So you can
Mhm.
only set goals and stay on task when it comes to your own actions. Especially
Yeah.
because you're more likely to end up disappointed and you're more likely to end up blaming yourself for something that's
Yeah.
not your fault. Like if
Hmm.
you don't write a couple words a day, you don't need to feel guilty, but at least it's your fault. Whereas
Yeah.
feeling bad about an agent rejecting you is not your fault. So
Yeah.
I
And
think
that's
that can be a
also
good thing to keep
where
in mind.
setting a reward for yourself can soften that blow,
Hmm. Yeah,
which is
that's
kind of
true.
nice. Yeah, because then you're not completely dependent on somebody else for the
Hmm.
quote unquote reward or
Right.
the fulfillment of that goal that you set, which is basically the same. Uh, yeah. So you can have like a different little reward. Like I sent out this many queries, so I'm gonna go have my query reward. You know,
Yeah.
I sent my queries reward. Don't
Yeah,
know what that would
exactly.
be. All I can think
Food
of is
related,
food
I
right now.
assume. Yeah.
All I can think of is food, but there's other things too. Maybe
Other
you
things
buy the
exist.
new computer that you need. I don't
I
know.
usually do books I want to buy
Oh, that's a
because
good one.
like if I have so many books to read, I'm like, okay, well, I don't have time right now because I'm writing, so I can't justify the
Hmm.
purchase. But once I finish writing, I'm like, okay, well, now I can justify the purchase because I have more time.
I like that.
So,
I might need to
yeah.
do then I need to like write this much and then I can read something. But it depends
Mm-hmm.
because reading is also sometimes helps me get back on track with writing when I'm like
Right.
if my problem is lack of inspiration, then sometimes reading a book can fix it. Which by the way,
Yes.
guys, that's another little tool there. If you're like, I don't lack the motivation to write, I lack the ideas to write about, I lack the inspiration, not the motivation, then
Mm-hmm.
maybe read a book or read a couple books or read some books in genres you don't usually read.
Yep.
That's a good one.
Great. I do think reading books in genres we don't usually read is like strangely good advice because like if you want to write fantasy, right? But you're reading a thriller, sometimes it will inspire an idea that doesn't feel like you're copying it because it's not a fantasy book.
Yeah.
So the way that your brain kind of turns it into a fantasy is inspired by as opposed to a total ripoff of. So
Yes.
that is definitely
Exactly.
helpful.
Very, very true. And if you write in the same genre, you probably know that genre pretty well. So
Hmm.
you might not get the same sort of like new idea inspiration from reading the genre because it's all very familiar.
Hmm.
Whereas if you read something else, it might help you to think about all of the stuff that you already know about your favorite genre, but in a new way, like in relation to this new genre. You do kind of like a compare and contrast thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see, staying on task. I also think this one just occurred to me. I didn't have it written down. If, again, you have to know what kind of a person you are and which direction you struggle in, but I think setting aside a certain like habitual time to do your writing thing, whatever that is, can be helpful too.
Hmm.
So, like, it's fine to say I'm gonna write 1,000 words a day, but
Yeah.
when? Like, do you want to get it done in the morning so that, like we said, you can meet that goal and then anything you do is extra? Do you want to do it on your lunch break? Do you want to do it, at the end of the day where like you might fail, but maybe that, gives you motivation because midnight is approaching? I don't know. Um, just having a set time can be useful because, like, for me, I would definitely rather write all day Saturday than try to get word counts Monday through Friday, right?
Yeah.
So you might be opposite, you might be the same. But just knowing like what kind of a person you are in that sense can be helpful, and then budgeting that time,
Yeah.
it you like you're already setting it aside. So staying on task is a little easier.
Hmm. I think if you're someone who's like me in the sense that you're like, well, I have a bunch of other things to do. And some of them are non-negotiables that need to be done. Some of them are just mean you have to accept being messy,
Hmm.
or whatever it is, to make time. I think that setting a day and a time that you're like, okay, I'm going to block out this chunk of time to do my writing can be great. And that's like, I think the piece that I often miss. But then even the piece beyond that is not just, okay, I'm going to set this day and time to make this happen. You also need to think about, okay, how can I make sure that that
Hmm.
time is available to me, which for me means accepting the mess and saying, okay, maybe that was time I was going to use to clean, but also I got a baby. So anyone out there with kids or anyone out there with like not even time sensitive, but anyone out there with like, where you feel like you have a lot of things that are pulling on your attention at once. So you set safeguards in advance. So maybe I go, hey, Javi, these 2 or 3 days a week, I need you to watch the baby from this hour to this hour so that I can get my writing done.
Right.
But if you don't like plan in advance for the things that typically distract you during that period of time, then it's going to be really hard to actually follow through, even if you did pick a day and time.
Hmm.
Which is, I just wrote that note down for myself because
Yeah.
I'm
Another
often like,
note to self.
okay, I've tried to do, okay, every night before bed, that I'm going to try and, but then I'm like, oh, but there's still chores to do and there's animals to feed. And now there's a baby to try to get to sleep. But if I'm like, okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Javi puts the baby to bed, you know, or something like that, then I'm like, okay. And I'm not going to do chores, and whatever's not done, like chores wise, by like 6 p.m. is just not going to get done.
Yeah. Just a loss. Yeah.
Yeah. Then I'm good. Then I'm like, okay, well, I did it. I effectively cleared the time for writing. So if I don't write, it's really no one's fault but my own. And if I do write, then I am all that closer to whatever reward I have set for myself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I did the other day accidentally? I left my phone downstairs, and then I was on my lunch break and I was going to start writing, and I'm like, oh no, where's my phone? And I had this moment of like, maybe too many seconds long where I was like, do I want to go get it, or do I want to just sit here and get stuff done? And I didn't go get it, and I got so much done. So like,
oh yeah,
just like literally put your device in the other room and don't go get it. Make yourself like have all of your beverages and snacks ready, close your door, like make it difficult for yourself to go and get that thing, so that basically the only thing you have available to you is the writing.
Yep. It's true. And sometimes that can also include like no music or anything, like, or don't even start the podcast that you were going to listen to if you think that the episode won't be done by the time that you have set aside to write, because otherwise you're gonna be like, okay, well, I just have to finish the episode. Right. Same with watching TV. Like if it's not, don't start it if it's not going to finish before your window of time to write, because it is so hard not to. And music even can be distracting, because if the song that comes on that's not like the kind that you write well with, and it's distracting instead, well, then you have to use your phone or whatever you're using to listen to music to go change it. And now you've distracted yourself, even just in the act of going to change your music. So I've been lately realizing I can get a lot more. I'm already work very quickly, but with the baby at home while I'm working full time, I already have one thing that I can't say no to that has to distract me sometimes. So I definitely can't have music and podcasts distracting me. So I've not really been listening to many podcasts or much music, and I'm shocked by how much I'm still able to get done, even with a baby at home full time.
Exactly. If you just cut something else out, it can work. Like the I can only watch one episode thing never works. Don't believe yourself. It never works.
No.
I trick myself into thinking that every time, and it never. I can't stop after one. I'm like, well, just one more. And then it's like midnight. So
I do that. And I'll do that during the day, where I not as much since baby, but I would used to do it during the day with like, what do you call it? Like crime documentaries, like the multi-episode ones. I'd be like, okay, well, it's a documentary, so it's not like a normal show. So I'll probably be able to exactly, it doesn't count. I'll be able to keep it on in the background, and then I'll be able to like pause it when I'm done with work and I'm ready to actually write. That's never happened before ever.
Yeah.
My husband's home. Either that or I'm about to be murdered by my stalker. I might have a stalker, by the way. So.
Oh no. Is that new? Like, seriously?
Yeah. It's possible. Yeah, I don't know. I got a weird email from a creepy dude who found a review I left for a dentist on Facebook, and then researched me and found my book, and then found my personal email and emailed me and said, hope to see you around town sometime. So,
wow. How did that not make it into the life update section?
Oh no, I told you, my brain is just an uncooked egg at this point. Like
that series of events is like the epitome of, well, that escalated quickly. You wrote a dentist review, and now you could be getting murdered.
Yeah. So I hear someone in the other room, but I think it's my husband. I left the door unlocked for him just when I sat down to start recording. But I also figured if my stalker does choose to appear during like the brief window of time that I've unlocked the door and kill me, at least I'll be recording. It'll be on camera. You know, like everyone will know who did it. There's evidence. So yeah, I did think it through.
There you go.
Well, there he is. It's my husband.
Not a stalker. He did appear out of nowhere in the frame, though. That was a little creepy, but
thank you. Baba, who is that? He's like, I was still looking at the computer. What did I miss? Your daddy was just here.
Did you even notice?
He's like, early Valentine's gift. Look, I mean, early Valentine's gift.
Wow, that's really early.
Oh my gosh, this is so cute. Okay, look, world. It's for Riley. It says, Mom is my Valentine.
Aw, cute.
Yeah, I am, Bubba. I'm your Valentine every year till you turn 16, and maybe even then.
We're gonna be
Right,
so
Bella?
close. It's gonna be creepy.
I know. He's giving me he was giving me such side eye. He was like, I don't think so. It's like, I already am a huge flirt. The ladies love me. I can't wait to put this on you. It's for 6 to 9 months, and you're 3 months old, and he's wearing all 6 to 9 month clothes, by the way, because he's huge.
Yep.
So yeah, that was my I just like to throw us off track to see if we can get back on track.
There you go.
Just testing us.
Stay on task.
Testing the focus.
Yes. Also, that's actually kind of a good one too. Give yourself an accountability partner, and
yes,
force yourself to be accountable to someone else. Because like if we were just doing a podcast by ourselves, you'd probably get distracted and walk away. But because I'm here, you're on task. True. I'm giving myself a lot of credit, but
I mean, I would definitely finish the episode, but I would get so distracted on the topic that I would never get back to what I started talking about. And so I'd probably have no listeners. Exactly none. Right, Bubba? I would just talk to my baby and then be like, well, that was 45 minutes of me talking to my baby. Yeah, I'll probably publish that.
That's enough. People will like that.
Fine. People like baby sounds, right, Bubba? He's looking at my wood.
I'm gonna be quiet now.
Yeah, he's like, now that you want me to speak, absolutely not. He's losing his hair also, which is funny. See, I just have these thoughts.
He's so young.
I'm like, I know. I'm hoping it's gonna grow back in curly. But what was I gonna say? It was actually also on topic. My thought was,
accountability. Okay.
Accountability. So the app that I've been using for exercise and health and stuff that I mentioned, and it's what I'm filming my prompts on. What's it called? Because I keep bringing it up. I'll tell you guys. It's called Way Better. And it's actually been endorsed by either the American Medical Association or something, like one of those health organizations. Don't quote me on specifically which one because I don't remember. And you can join these challenges one of two ways. You can choose to join with an accountability partner for free. So you can just invite a friend to do it with you, and you can create challenges, or you can join other people's challenges. I'm swinging my baby like a windmill because this makes him happy when he's fussy, if you're wondering what I'm doing. Hi. Anyways, or you can, and this is something where it's kind of like the whole reward system, which is kind of cool. And it's if you don't have an accountability partner, or you just don't want to involve an accountability partner, you basically pay a certain amount to join the challenge. Everybody does who joins the challenge that way. And then if you complete the challenge, then you get all your money back. Plus you get a share of whatever extra money went into the pot from people who didn't finish the challenge and are not getting their money back. So it's there's incentive because you don't want to lose your money, but there's also the positive incentive of, and I'll get a little extra if I finish this, which is exciting. So that maybe that's something to set up. Actually, I could set up a challenge for whoever wants to join on Way Better. Yeah. If that's something that motivates you. And I am someone who's very, very stingy, and I'm very about money. I've got budgets for everything. So the fact that I've joined 3 of these challenges, I have definitely done everything so far. I have one for mindful eating, drinking water, which I was really good about when I was pregnant, and for some reason have not been lately, probably the postpartum depression. And then I joined the one for the creative writing prompt every day. And it feels also extra satisfying, like an accomplishment. So anyways, that's, an accountability partner is great. Joining something that has a natural reward system. If you're I don't have the creativity to think of which restaurant I want to take myself to, or I won't actually treat myself, even though I set a reward for myself, which is that's probably more of a me thing. I'll be I'm going to go there, but I don't want to take myself. So, or I don't want to spend the money on, XYZ, even if I said I would, because it's spending money. But this feels I'm just getting my own money back plus something, which is kind of fun. That's and you also get to see what other people are doing, so it's still a little extra accountability in that sense, and inspiration, because people will post pictures of their of their prompts. He's so smiley right now. He loves windmilling. Do you like to windmill? Do you want a windmill? He's I'm looking at the computer now.
Wait, I forgot this was here. What's happening?
See if we'll do it again. I do a mwah. I give him he thinks that's so funny. Anyways, So it's called Way Better. So you can create challenges for yourself on there, for your friends. You can join other people's challenges. So not that you have to use that app, but I do really like the concept. And I should point out that the company doesn't keep any of the money that go into the pot. Like that's specifically, you pay like $3 a month, I think, to have like the pro version of the app. But to me, I feel like that's super worth it. Because it also has a bunch of other functionality like food tracking and exercise tracking and stuff, and then the challenges are like this extra bit, and like they're like games and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but they don't keep any of the pot. It's just specifically designed that way because it's motivating.
Right.
It like uses all your psychological strengths, so that's fun. That's a good option too.
Yeah.
If you're like, all this sounds good, but I don't want to have to set my own goals and I don't want to have to set my own reward system, it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Or you can make your friend who's like really proactive, you can make them make a challenge for all of you.
Exactly. Yeah, if you have like a writing group or something, you could
Say
do like a live
writing
version of
group.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Writing groups are also great. We do have a writing group. It is on Discord. I actually have been a little bit better about checking that recently. And it is motivating. I won't say like I haven't set up any like specific like accountability goals or anything, but it is motivating to go in there and see like what Susanna, a friend of the pod, Susanna,
Yeah.
will put her writing updates. And I'm like, oh my God, she did write. And I was like, God, I need to write.
Yeah.
So that's fun. So it is the Scripturient Society. I think it's the Scripturient Society. I forget what it's called specifically, but the link is in our episode description if you guys want to join that. You're welcome to. There's a lot of channels on there. So we talk about or a lot of threads, I guess they're called. We talk about animals, hobbies, books, writing. So anyways, it's fun. If you're looking for accountability partners, not a bad place to go and join us for accountability partners if that's motivating.
Yeah.
I kind of don't care about disappointing people, so but I do sometimes get competitive with myself. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Again, knowing which kind you are, which kind of person.
Exactly. You gotta know. Agaba. Agaba. Agaba.
She has descended into madness.
Right? Right, Bubba? He's like, I'm descending into madness because I haven't had milkies in like an hour and a half and I'm gonna die.
So hard.
Oh my God. You're malnourished. He's smiling to himself as he's fussing. He will also do a thing where he scream fusses, and then the second that you like go over there to pick him up, he stops and smiles. And you're like, dude.
Like, successful manipulation. Check.
Exactly. He's like, goodbye. That's all? Okay.
All right. There you go.
Sometimes he just wants a response. I get it. I just want attention too sometimes.
Just let you know I'm here.
He's got so much to say. Anything else as far as how to set tasks or goals?
I guess just one more like small thing. Again, knowing what kind of person you are, I think sometimes daily goals are a little too much. So weekly goals or monthly goals or even bi-weekly, like twice a week or every other week can be helpful because then if you fail one day, it's not like the whole goal is out the door. Because like that's something about NaNoWriMo that sometimes stymies me is that if you are off one day, you're now behind for the rest of the month.
Yep. So, and it's so like, hard to get back on track.
Yeah. So instead of saying, I'm going to write this many words a day, or I'm going to, do this task every day. I mean, those can be good, but maybe also give yourself some weekly or monthly goals instead, because if you're going for like a year of achievements, monthly goals are fine too, or bi-weekly or whatever.
Quarterly goals, if those motivate you, that's what companies use, because sometimes when you're doing like multiple efforts at once, quarterly goals are kind of nice.
Yeah, and it'll give you room to say, okay, I need a break this week to just read or to just recharge, go socialize, whatever it is, and then you're still not behind on your goals. So
yes, exactly. It's nice. Or if you're like this whole month is just like my December was just holidays, mom's wedding. So that was just, I didn't really get anything done at all.
Right.
So if you're like quarterly goals, then you're like, okay, I just know that this month is going to be a big miss. Or if you know that you have 1 month where you have no extra like priorities, so then you can set aside that time for writing and make sure to put in those safeguards so that you don't accidentally fill up your free days with other stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, I agree. Daily goals. It's the same like when I set like daily goals to like work out. I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
I'm gonna work out every day. Then the second that you miss a day, you're like, well, screw me. I guess I'm just gonna be
Yeah.
out of shape forever
Yeah.
because
I
I'm
guess I'll never
already
try this
off.
again.
I guess I've already failed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And unless you have like a lot of unstructured time every single day, a daily goal is just probably not going to be effective. If you have
Yep.
loads of unstructured time every day, maybe that is feasible, but I think for most
Right.
people it's probably not.
Well, and you might have different things on different days. Like you might have really
Yeah.
busy Wednesdays. So like don't try to do on Wednesday what you do on Monday.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Agree.
I think that's my last one. But yeah, I hope that was helpful. Did you have any other ones? All
I did not have any other ones. I
right,
will
cool.
say that having a 3-month-old vying for your attention is not conducive to getting tons of writing done. So there's going to be, what, can I help you? There's going to be lots of daddy's going to have to watch you, or I know, or I'm going to have to arrange in advance for maybe like his grandma to go take him out for a day or something, which she would love. And then I have a whole day of writing. So
That's right.
I got to figure out, the ways, but Agaba, Agaba, aha.
Madness.
Madness. Yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry. I hear myself do it, and I'm not even trying. It just comes out. I'll like walk
Just
around the house
forgotten
and
language.
I'll walk around the house doing that
Oh my
to
gosh.
myself, and I'm like, I'm losing my mind.
Oh no.
Oh God. Anyways, I'm gonna be like, look, Karissa, I wrote a whole book, and it's gonna be all gibberish.
Gibberish. That would that count? It wouldn't not count.
If I knew what I had said and I
Mm,
understood it, I think it would count. It would
there
just
you
be like
go.
writing another language. If
Yep.
not, I am just absolutely crazy. Just a little
Yeah.
off my rocker. Ironically, I just bought another rocking chair. So
Ah, there you go.
it's like I need one in every room.
Ah,
I will might be a little bit more sane when this kid starts sleeping at least more hours
makes
consecutively at
sense.
night. Not even asking for him to sleep through the night. That would be amazing. It'd be a miracle at this point. Yeah. Anyways, do you have any writing updates that you want to share?
Um, I mean, do you want to talk about last year or just recent ones? We can just talk about recent
Whatever
ones.
you've got.
When
I mean,
when did we last writing update? I think I think I've written 2 books since then.
did you
When
during our Christmas episode mention anything?
Oh, I might have. Okay. So I've written 1 book since then. Um
Do I know about this
I
book?
No, because I wrote it. It's I wrote it in 12 days. So that is not my record, but it is my second place record.
Oh my
Um it
gosh.
is it is also only 80,000 words. So it's shorter
Only
than I usually.
80,000
It's
words. It's
shorter
still just above
than
the average for a
usual.
YA book.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I know.
So I did write, like when I first started my job, which was, and actually as of today, that was 3 months ago because I started on October 9th and today is January 9th.
Oh,
Anyway, I
happy three
know.
months.
Thank you. So I started writing like a dystopian book that I think I've talked about a little bit. It's kind of about euthanasia. I think I've mentioned that. Um you look surprised. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it, but you're you, so
I know you very well might have mentioned it and I just
yeah.
don't remember.
Anyway, it's a dystopian kind of about the issue of euthanasia. And it took me, my goal was to finish it by the end of the year. And I did like a daily thing where I wrote it on my lunch breaks at work. So I was
Hmm.
like, every day, like this is how many words I got on my lunch break and etc. And it was kind of fun. I just wanted to see how long it would take me to do it that way. And it
Hmm.
took me, I actually don't know off the top of my head how long it took me. It took me a couple months. But that one was like really long and it was a slog at the end. It was like 180,000 words. And I was like, maybe this is just 2 books. I don't know. But my brain, I think it's because I was only writing for half hours at a time. I was excessive in the stuff I was writing because I was kind of repeating myself a little bit. So
Uh-huh. I
anyway,
do get
that's what
that.
I
Yeah.
did. And I finished that. And so that was exciting. And then I was like, okay, now I'm going to take a break and read. And my brain just said, nope, we're going to write another book. So I brainstormed some ideas and I came up with one out of nowhere and I wrote it. And I like it. I'm on the editing phase now. So I'm
I need to
excited.
know about it. I need to know about it.
Let's
What
see.
can you
I
tell
don't,
me about it?
what can I tell you about it?
Give me the genre.
Gosh. Oh, okay. So yeah, it's like YA fantasy, and it's another book that takes place in the same universe that my series does, but it's like standalone. And
Ooh.
it's, gosh, I don't know how, I haven't like written the query letter or anything for it yet. I do think it's queryable once I like give myself a couple months of space from it and do some
Mm-hmm.
edits on it. Um,
When
but
do
it's
I get to read
basically,
it?
I know, maybe you could probably read it. I just need to do one like basic edit on stuff. Maybe I'll send it to you. But it's basically about this guy who is, and it's from a male perspective, which
Ooh.
I've tried to do before, and I have a couple books written like that, and I like doing that every once in a while. It kind of breaks up the
Yeah.
norm. But he's like hired as a bodyguard to protect these like sisters, and no one knows how
Uh-huh.
many there are. And like maybe there's five, maybe there's 18, maybe there's two, like no one knows. So he has to figure out how to like protect all of them because like they have a magical power that disguises how many of them there are.
What?
So I was very
That's
excited
so
about it.
cool.
And one of them is a murderer. And that's like I'm really excited.
Oh my God, I love it.
Very
That's
fun.
awesome.
I know. So that's what I worked on. And I basically
Does it
wrote it
have a
over
name yet?
my uh does it? No.
No.
It has a stupid name, like a working title name that gives away the twist. So I'm not gonna tell you.
Oh
But I
God, I know
basically
this
wrote it
so
over
much.
my, I know, I basically wrote it over my holiday break. And so I was very motivated to get it done before I went back to work at the beginning of the year. And it
Mm-hmm.
did overlap a little, but only
Yeah.
by like 4 days, I think. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I did. And I'm very excited about it. Because the euthanasia book, like there's no way I'm querying that. It's way too, like, first of all, it's way too long. Second of all,
Yeah.
it's gonna need a lot of editing, even aside from the length. And also, I'm not sure how if that should be my debut novel. You know what I mean? For such a topic. So that was really just me. I don't know. That was me on a break, I think. So
Oh my
uh
God. You're
it was
so
a little
funny.
excessive. But then this one was
God.
like I was in my wheelhouse again and I was excited to get back into it. And yeah.
Yay. Well, that's exciting.
So
Now I'm
yeah,
just thinking like plans for our writing retreat that we didn't get to go on because I was
that's right.
aggressively pregnant
That's right.
last year. So this year
Aggressively.
when we go this year, I'm thinking that I'll take my mom and you could maybe bring your mom so they can go have
Ooh.
fun times and take the baby with them. But
Uh,
then the baby can come and feed with me because he's not quite big enough. Well, I guess it depends when.
yeah.
Like big enough to like leave for like 45 days at a time.
Hmm.
Not 45, 4 to 5.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah. But I want to do writing retreats still, so that would
I
be fun.
know. That would be
I need to
great.
make it happen. But now I have to think like, okay, so I kind of wanted to bring my mom anyways because she doesn't get out enough. So this way I'm just like, well, I need you to come because somebody has to watch the baby who is currently
Obviously.
filling up his diaper with all his might. Um
Okay.
goodness gracious. Just again, in case anybody's like, did I hear something on the microphone? Yes, it's my 3-month-old. So
So
he'll
you
probably
say.
scream soon because he thinks that he's hungry. Every time he
Mm,
fills up a diaper, he's like, now my tummy's empty. And he usually gets very angry and hungry.
mm,
So we're playing with a ticking time bomb now.
I see.
Um my writing updates.
Yes.
I did not get any I did not get no
Baby.
writing done. Baby, just baby. I did get some writing done. I
Okay.
just didn't get nearly as much done as I wanted. I think I
Mm,
have like 10-ish chapters
yeah.
now, which is something. I mean, it's good. I made significant progress. I really thought that I'd be able to finish writing the book before the end of the year. And maybe I could have if I wanted to hate my life, but I didn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I still really want to finish that one, but I'm also thinking I might want to try writing a thriller. Not
Hmm.
because I'm like, oh, I want to write a thriller, but because every time I sit down to finish one of these writing prompts, it comes out as a thriller. So I'm like, do I
Right.
just need to write a thriller to get it out of my system or something?
I
Like,
just need to try it.
I guess I just need to try it and see. Because in my head, I'm like, Ash, you would be horrible at writing thrillers. But for some reason, my brain's like, you're going to write a thriller. So I guess I'm going to write a thriller next.
Nice.
And I still want to finish my Cinderella retelling next.
Mhm.
And then beyond that, I still have my big, magical whip that I was planning to work on during our writing retreat
Mhm.
because it's like the world is huge. I've described it as my magnum opus before. It's the one that's like, it's from two perspectives, which I don't even usually like that much, and one of them's from a dude's perspective. It's a whole thing, but it's still in the works. It's just that it's very much on the back burner because I'm not ready for it.
Yeah.
And I think the Cinderella retelling will be really good too. Somebody the other day was like, they had something bad to say about Cinderella. They basically said that she was like the most useless princess or something. And I was like, oh my,
How
ready,
dare.
you better sit down. I got things to say to you. And so anyways, I actually did change their mind. So, or at least they pretended to change their mind so I'd go away. So
you
either
at
way,
least socially pressured them enough to win. So
exactly. It's
goal
still a
achieved.
win. So yeah. So that's that. The writing prompt is going, that is really enjoyable. So I think even when this challenge is over, if I have yet to focus up enough to work on the Cinderella retelling, I definitely want to at least keep doing writing prompts. But probably after this episode, more than anything, and that's why I wrote this note to myself, I need to pick like at least a couple times a week where I have set aside time for myself to sit down and focus on nothing but writing, no music, no podcast, no TV, no baby, and see what I can get done, because I think I can get a lot done. But I just will have to arrange for the distractions, and I just have to accept that maybe the cat litter won't get cleaned or the dishes won't get put in the dishwasher.
The horror.
See, you're joking, the horror, but I'm like, oh my god, this is so stressful. The laundry might not get done, Karissa. The laundry.
And the world will end. So this is all on you.
I know. What if my chickens are hungry? What if they're hungry? I'm just saying. I feel like that's kind of important. I do have a husband who can feed them, but
that's true.
What if they don't think I love them anymore? You know?
And our relationship is ruined forever.
It's okay. They have no idea who I am every time I go out there. So it's all good.
Oh, what is this thing coming toward us? Is this a human?
It's the legs. It's the legs with the boots. The legs with the boots have come to give us grain. The grain from the sky. That's all they care about.
Converge.
So. It's true. I did skip a day of doing like chicken stuff because I usually got there every other day because their food and water like lasts for plenty of time. So I got there every other day just to make sure everything's all good in the coop and to collect the eggs. And I accidentally skipped a day because uncooked egg brain, and I didn't realize that I had. So I went out there today and I was just like mobbed by chickens.
Oh my gosh.
Very funny. And now we have 3 roosters, which I thought one of our chickens was a hen that's actually a rooster. So now we have 3 roosters, and that's definitely too many for the coop. So anyways, do you want a rooster? What would you like? I'll mail you a rooster.
I don't really have a use for a rooster, but thank you for the offer.
No one does. They're roosters. There's no
use
for them.
You need
I
one.
need just, but I've had
maybe
2,
a spare.
And we didn't have any extra baby chickies. So I'm like, what are you guys doing anyways? Actually, it's the hens' problem, is because they don't want to brood for some reason. They don't want to sit on their eggs, and I don't know why. Anyways, that's, again, see, off topic, my brain. Is there anything else that you want to share with the listeners?
No, I think that's it.
All right, sweet. Well, if you guys enjoyed this episode, or if you didn't, but you'd like some more focused content that comes directly from Karissa and not from my brain, you guys can get that, all that you want, on Instagram and on TikTok. We are the Scripturient Society, both places. If you guys want to talk to us about what you're working on, what you're reading, or you just want to, talk to us about maybe Karissa needs to find a different co-host who's not so insane, whatever it is that you want to bring to the table. I'm not going anywhere, by the way. She's mine. It's fine.
It's useless, but you can say it.
You can say it all you want. It won't change anything.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you guys want to reach out and message us, I know Karissa checks those messages regularly, and she passes things on to me. Vice versa, I check our email, contact@storysirenstudio.com. You're welcome to email us there. That's our production company, and we do get emails there, and I always pass those along as well. If you guys want to learn more about the pod or support the pod, you can do that at thescripturientsociety.com or storysirenstudio.com. It'll take you to the same place. I think that's everything we've got. Don't forget to tell your writing friends about the podcast, about the writing group, and to make your New Year's resolutions, and to find your accountability partners and figure out what motivates you this year to begin on the right foot to pursue all your writing dreams.
And stay on task.
And stay on task. Yeah, stay on task with the Scripturient Society, even though only one of them knows how to stay on task.
You only need one.
You only need one. I'm learning with you. I'm there to humanize us.
Yes. I'm actually not real. I'm just, you know, a robot. So
She's a robot. She's a very finely made android.
yes. I am
She
a
does not dream
cyborg.
of electric sheep. You are a cyborg.
Don't. I am a cyborg though, so
Yeah.
not a total lie.
Not a total
Concerningly
lie.
so.
Yeah. So if you want to say that you get your writing advice from a cyborg,
There's only one place you can
or
do that I know of.
yeah, or if you guys want some more advice from a baby, he's really smart, you guys.
Yep. And if you want
Really
both,
smart.
psh, this is the place. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. So hopefully we'll see you guys next week. So until then, keep writing.
And we'll see you on the next page.